Hi everybody, I'm here to show you a video to make flower crowns. I'm Marget Maldonado. I have been doing this for about 20 years, growing flowers and also making things with flowers. I'm fascinated by the process of going outside and find your flowers in the garden and make something with them. And also with the experience as a floral designer, I've been learning a lot of techniques about making things with flowers. And I think flower crowns are something that are very nice to do and they're fun to make and everybody likes them and enjoy them, maybe for a birthday party, maybe for a gather together, or maybe just to learn a craft together or whichever your intention is for a flower crown. One thing that I inspire living here in Vermont is with materials and things that I can find outside to do things from nature. So I find fascinated about dogwood. And this is one that I found literally on my deck crawling under. It's very bendy and soft. And it's everywhere in Vermont in different states. Let me see if I can pull a leaf so you can see it. It's kind of like, this is the leaf. This one is kind of like a trailing one, so it's very long and curvy. I can see how long it is. Okay, so we're gonna create the wreath or the ring with this first. And then to that, we're gonna add the flowers. And I'm gonna show you a simple technique how to do it. So the first thing that you're gonna need is your dogwood. If you, for some reason, don't have dogwood available, another option could be like curly willow. Curly willow you can find maybe at a store or something, but you have to be sure that it's fresh and you can bend it. Or another maybe branch that you know that when you bend it, it's kind of like flexible and it doesn't break. You're gonna see how flexible this guy is. It's very flexible. I'm gonna bend it. I'm gonna clean it and then I'm gonna bend it. Okay, so for that start, I'm gonna show you the material. So we're gonna need some kind of like a twine. This will have wire inside, but if you don't have that, you can use a rope or any other material you have at home that you know is steady and let you tie knots and so to be sure that these stay in place. This will have wire inside and I really like it. I find it online is Oasis products that are usually for florists. And it has twine inside, so it's really staying there. Other option could be just regular florist wire that I found sort of like in the dollar store or on Michael's. That works too. And you're gonna need definitely floral tape. This technique that I'm gonna use, it doesn't need glue. One that I taught before at the Ulster Museum, we use a lot of glue. So this one I like it because the floral tape will help and it will be less sticky. So anyway, you can use also some ribbon or any kind that you have available. This is just a nice silk ribbon that I have to use at the end, but you can use any ribbon that you have around that you can find. Usually, like I say, dollar stores have floral tape and it will have some sort of wire and it will have ribbon or things like that. So if that is an option. We're gonna need flowers from our gardens because it's a flower crown. So I have these flowers that I grow here. We are in Irishburg, Vermont. So these are delphiniums. So they are very nice and I have them in purples, blues, and whites. And those are the ones that I'm gonna use today mostly, but I also gonna add things from my garden. So I'm gonna add like some sedums. I'm pretty sure you're familiar. They grow everywhere. They're kind of like succulents-like plants, and they're very nice. Let me show you one that have colors. So I'm pretty sure you have seen in many gardens. They grow, and in fall they get beautiful. They get like darker, and they're very pretty. So I'm gonna use some of these from my garden. I'm gonna use some of these purple flowers that are called trachelium that I just happen to have in some of my pots. But you can find anything that it looks nice in your garden. Even black-eyed Susans, even though when these dry, think about flowers that will dry nicely and won't lose all the petals right away. So trying to find flowers like that, like calendulas will kind of like dry nicely. They will, lose maybe some of the petals, but they kind of stay nicely. Try And not to pick flowers that are too heavy in heads. Because like this dahlia is beautiful, it's a ball dahlia, you can see it, but it's heavy. So if you add it to your flower crown, you're gonna need to wire and do all the things with it and it might break. So heavy flowers maybe not the best for this kind of flowers. Maybe more smaller flowers. Marigolds would be perfect. I thought about maybe a small sunflower. If it's not too heavy, you might want to be able to use, but no huge sunflowers or any flowers that are too big. Try to choose small flowers that are easy to work with. And other than that, you will need garden tools, like a garden scissors, regular tools, scissors. Other than that, I think that's pretty much it, because this is intended to be like a easy to make flower crown, so kids can do it too. So first we're gonna start cleaning the redwood. I sort of cleaned this one. So when you find it, actually nature is gonna be fuller and have more foliage. Be sure to shake it. And also be sure just to harvest a little bit here and a little bit there, not to get a whole patch clean. It is important when we take things from nature that we be very careful. We just take only what we need. So with this, I only needed like 4 or 6 branches, and I just prune what was on my desk, on my deck, kind of bothering me. So it was kind of nice to prune it and be able to use it. So here we go. So pull it down, you pull down, you don't need to cut it, but if you feel you wanna cut it, you can cut it. But usually with most of the plants, when you pull down the leaf like this, it will come nicely and it will leave a nice kind of like cut in the leaf. So I'm gonna just clean it nicely. Another way to identify the wood is because sometimes they have like little berries. This one, let me see if I find the part that have the little berries here. There's these little berries on it too. I'm gonna just clean it all. I have part, like I say, a clean part of it. And this is one of the longest stems that I have. You can see it's very like soft. If you have nice leaf, you can leave some of them. Depend on as the more you work with it, the more you're gonna notice that, oh, maybe this is a nice leaf. There are some other pieces that I cleaned already. I'm gonna cut pieces that have like straight lines like this, and maybe just keep only things that I can braid or use nicely. I think it's a similar principle that maybe when you make baskets, you want those fibers to be clean or leaf or be, nicest pieces so you can braid them or intricate them in the weaving. Yeah. This is another long piece that is already clean. I left kind of like 2 little leaves at the end. It looks nice. All right, I think with that I should be able to make it. So I'm gonna take the longest one that I feel goes well. You don't have to really braid it, but if you feel, that you wanna braid it and have more time, I really kind of like gonna make it very fast. I'm just gonna take the pieces and kind of round them around. Are you gonna notice that you easily will be able to braid it? And I think this one is an old one that I have that is dry. I'm not sure if you can see the details, but I sort of like braided. It was smaller and thinner, so I have more time. You can see in the back, this one is not very well done in the back, but you can see some of the finishes of the, and then you can see the flowers dry, kind of like very nice. But those are delphiniums and they dry very nicely. So I kind of like round it around and kind of put them together. There's really not like a specific way to do it. Just kind of like go around and just be willing to kind of play with it. Then I have my 2 ends. Yeah, can you see that? Okay, perfect. This one I broke the part. I kind of got going at the end. Now when I got my ring. It's nice. You can see this ring is from last year. It was a wreath, and it's dry and it's very nice. I will be able to use it again this year to make something else with it. Maybe not a flower crown because it's too small, but maybe a little wreath for my wall or something. And then I have some little pieces that I'm gonna add later. I'm gonna take stock out of here so you can see me. So I have it here. See how it is here? Like going on one way, I'm going on one way. And if you let go here, you're gonna lose it. So here is where you really wanna tie it and really hold it. Then you can measure. This one is too big for my head, so I'm gonna make it slightly smaller. And I'm losing all the little things at here, so I'm just gonna cut. I cut all these because I was losing them. Make it smaller. If it's a flower crown, make it just the side of your head. A little bit smaller there. All right. So there. Then I'm gonna cut just a little bit, but not too much, because you wanna be sure when you tie it that it's really tight and you don't lose it. I'm gonna have my wire. This is the one that I feel is better, but like I said, a twine, something that ties very nicely, any of that works. This one has wire in it. I'm gonna really, really be sure that I go over it, holding tight with my hand without letting go. Go all the way around. You can see all the way, all the way, all the way. And then with this, I twist, 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 twist. And I cut. And if you're using wire, always remember to leave anything that is pointy or it's gonna hurt somebody. Always tuck it in. Believe me, having a bride with a flower crown and something sticking out is not good. So anyway, this goes like this. And then all these little pieces, I just kind of braid them in. See, this one that is all wild coming out. I just kind of braid them in. I'm just gonna kind of finish my last touch before I cut anything. And I put it in. Am I gonna need to add a little more piece of wine here so it stays? These ones you can literally just put them in and they will stay. See if you can see that. I'm gonna grab this big one. I'm gonna tie it around and then you can tuck it in and it really pretty much will stay. Like I say, when these dry, they just won't move. You can just, maybe you decide, oh, that little guy sticking out looks very cute. So you can just leave it. It's your art at the end, you know? So whichever works for you. For me, I'm just gonna tuck it in or maybe cut it. So it looks a little bit straight and you can see better the process. These ones are gonna tighten them. I'm gonna add a little bit more here to be sure that it's secure. So a little piece of twine here. But be sure that you kind of leave it like, not with too much. So just little pieces. And then you will cover those with flowers. So it's no big deal. Now that you see it's not gonna go anywhere, steady. Then I'm gonna cut these two big ends here. Okay. So try not to cut it that close from where you finish your tie. So in that way it doesn't get loose, but it won't go anywhere there. And I'm gonna just tuck in some other pieces and be sure that it's clean and it looks nice. And then we start with our flowers. And for these, here I'm gonna tie these, another one here. Another piece. There you go. This is the ring is ready. It's a little wreath. This guy is coming out. Put it in. Tie it all up. All right. And now we're gonna start with our flowers. For your flowers, you're gonna need flowers that have some stem so you can put them together and you're gonna see why. So here is this. I'm gonna put it on my hair. Gonna stay there. The flower crown, you don't have to do the whole crown. You can do part of it and you can do one side. I mean, it's up to you. So I'm gonna show you how to do it first. We're gonna start with some delphiniums. These are blue phiniums. So you can choose also to get some flowers from a supermarket. You can get some flowers from your garden. Or you can, maybe there is a flower farmer close to your area that might provide some flowers for you. So I'm gonna get flowers that have long stems. So I'm gonna start like this guy. And I'm gonna get a little bit of this guy, a little between it. Maybe a little piece of this. You can do 2 flowers, 1 flower at a time, whichever works. I'm gonna do kind of like clumps of flowers like this. I'm gonna get my floral tape. So this is the thing about floral tape. Floral tape stretch and it gets sticky as you stretch it, and that's when it stays steady. So I'm gonna cut a little piece of that. Already a mess on my table. Here's the thing. And I'm gonna kind of tie it around. See the stems, how are they long here? You want to tie it and stretch out of the, and kind of twist it around it. And what this is gonna do is gonna put the flowers together. Okay. And the more you go over, you don't have to overdo it, just cut it. The more you go over it. Okay, I'll show another piece with the computer down to see how that goes. So see, now they're together. And then I'm gonna cut it. And I'm gonna prepare several of these. I'm gonna continue making different ones. They don't have to be all the same, unless you wanna do like all blue crown or whichever works for you. With a floral tape, you're gonna start adding it to your crown. And this is what we're gonna do. This one is maybe 2. I'm gonna cut it because it's not working. All right, this looks better. Looks like a little boutonniere. Perfect. So I'm gonna make a different clumps. I'm gonna show you here. Still messy though. All right, can you see me well there? Maybe there. All right, perfect. So here you have some of these. I'm gonna continue doing some delphiniums. So here you go. Here's the stem. The stem is kind of like, sure, these guys have a lot more little flowers in it. And I'm gonna just add another little flower, whichever you have in your garden. Okay, maybe I'll go for 1 yellow calendula. Okay, and then same thing, you have your stems, you have a piece of this. Let me move some things from here so we can see better. Okay, stretch a little bit, put together like you put in a bouquet together, and start wrapping around the floral tape. You could leave it if you want to. When you get better, you can leave a piece of the floral tape out, and then that one is the one you're gonna use to attach to the crown. And continue going a little bit with the floral tape. It doesn't have to be a lot. Just to be sure that you have like a little bouquet tied together. Now, you're gonna see if I put my flower crown here and I get another piece of tape. See here, I want to cover these edges here. So this long guy, I kind of like it there. And this one has a little bit of place of tape, so I'm just gonna go over. The floral tape is not sticky like a normal tape. Like I said, it will stay to itself. So if you stretch it and go over it, it kind of go and stay there. Do you see how easy that stay there? Just one stretch. Then you might want to cut these stems that are long here that you don't need. Now, this is the other bouquet that we made first. I'm gonna touch it here. Okay, and I'm gonna continue doing that, making little bouquets, putting floral tape over. You can even leave like pieces of floral tape on the wreath open for your next one. And I'm gonna stretch it and it stays there. Okay, so I'm gonna make another clones here. They have another blue little flower. It has stem, so you can use it. And what about something that we have all around everywhere? Goldenrod. Okay, can use some goldenrod to give that yellow, like yellow color that the calendula have. And I'm gonna add a little bit of serum to this one. But like I said, you can do patterns. You can do single all the crown just with specific flowers. Okay, so this is a long goldenrod, a little flower, this, and am I gonna get another piece of this purple one? Okay, there. You can cut them. Your piece of floral tape here. Stretch it, go all the way over it. And this time, because I have my piece of floral tape here, I'm just gonna cut it. I have another piece for next one. And with this one that I have here that I left from the other one, I'm gonna stretch it to be sure it gets sticky. Put the flowers in, organize where I want my goldenrod to go. Continue going over it. And start looking like this. Let's see, I think if I put it up, it will look better. So, like I said, with this kind of flower crown, I'm gonna continue making it. I put more things that I thought at the beginning. So you can see when you start putting it, how do you want it? Okay. Imagine that the crown is all full, all around. The more you work with it, the more you get used to it, like knowing, like right now, I know I need to stretch this a little bit more and kind of stick it on itself. And you make it, stretch it to be sure that it's not loose and it's very neat in the back. You can see in the back, they're starting to look at. Okay, and I'm gonna continue adding. I have more, like I have these blue ones that are very nice, and I think, so I'm gonna create sort of like a pattern. I'm gonna do like this blue, similar to this blue, another piece of satin, and another piece of this thing. I just lose you for a second while I move my hands here. All right, and same thing. Pieces of this. Stretch it. Make it super sticky. And then organize your flowers together like a little bouquet. With this same technique, you can create boutonnieres or corsages. Stick, pull, stay together. Copy. Like I say, there are many techniques of flower crowns. This is one that I sort of created because the red, I just was inspired by the redwood and how bendy and flexible was it. But there are other techniques that you really don't need a wreath at the beginning to make it. There are some that as you attach the flowers, with wire, the flower crown will start just shaping, you know? And also the other one that is just gluing the flowers to the flower crown. Just sometimes it's sticky, and the right glue to do it, which is the glue that won't damage the flower, it's kind of pricey. So I just wanted to create something that was more accessible for everybody to find everywhere, if that makes sense. I know little girls love to wear flowers. I just did a workshop for entrepreneur women in Burlington. We did it online, and you will be impressed how people were saying they're feeling so great when they were wearing the flower crown after the worship. I have so many pictures and everybody's smiling. So it's a good thing that flowers just have this ability to make us smile. And I'm pretty sure everybody have a way to connect with your flowers. This one's another one of these ones. This one have kind of like long stem, so I kind of grab the stem and I take pieces of it, as you can see. And then these pieces that are kind of short, I'm gonna put them together. They look like fairy dresses to me. That's what I tell my daughters. And then, see, this one have short stems, so I'm gonna figure out a way to see if I can put these two together and use the long stem of the calendula to make this guy be a little bit longer. That makes sense. And I still gonna add a little piece of this trachelium that is kind of like fluffy little flower. It could be asters. Asters are beautiful outside right now. As the goldenrod, and they hold very well. The purple asters, the white asters, and the goldenrod together are just beautiful. So I just get a little piece, stretch it, and just. So now you know, when you see, next time you see a florist, you will say, oh gosh, florists are so patient when they make all those weddings and all those corsage for prom and all that. So yeah, kind of like that. And I will add it. And you know, as you make it, you're gonna notice, oh, I have a little hole here. Like I noticed here, I don't know if you can see it. That because I facing the camera, I didn't notice. So I'm gonna just grab another flower, put it here, and just attach it carefully under the stem with this. With that, I will tell you that sometimes you're gonna find flowers that break easily than others. So if you know your flowers in your garden, trying to just get flowers that are more like steady and flexible and not as much as the ones that break very easy, the stems, if that helps to choose the right flowers. Hydrangeas will hold very nicely. They're huge, but I don't have any hydrangeas here, but they have kind of these stems at the bottom that you can peel and use the little clumps of stems around, and it looks very pretty. Last year we made some with hydrangeas and they really turn very cool. And they will dry amazingly. I mean, dry hydrangeas are very dreamy. So far this is what I have. But I can say you can continue going all the way around. I'm filling it up all the way. I'm not great at wearing flower crowns. I made them, but I just not great to make with them. But it's kind of like that. And like I say, everybody will find it different if you want to go all the way around, or you just want to just do a little thing. I remember last year there were some that they made like just a little clumps here, flowers, and make another one here. Maybe you will have greenery to put in it. So yeah, but this is kind of like the simple way to make it. I hope you like it. If you wanna, I think you're gonna receive my email if you wanna, you know, if you have questions or if you wanna receive some of the flowers. These also can make with dry flowers. I mean, it's just a simple technique, but like I said, you can make it with many things, and especially things that are around. You can make a winter one with just pine cones. And the next series is gonna be similar to this, but we're gonna make a wreath with dry flowers, or maybe another one that is kind of like more like Christmas. But with the same kind of like materials, to use what we have outside and just make use in a creative ways of things that are around us, and create less waste too. Because sometimes, you know, there are a lot of things that we use, a lot of plastic, a lot of glue, a lot of things that we really don't need to use. But I thought this one would be kind of like a nice way to create something simple that eventually will just vanish and earth out again without putting too much of other things, if that makes sense. Well, thank you so much. I hope it works, and I hope somebody just trying to make flower crowns for maybe next birthday party to make somebody feel special, or maybe fairy fantasy birthday party, and then all the girls will make their own flower crowns, something like that. Thank you.